Ghostwire Tokyo is a 2022 action-adventure game with post-apocalyptic elements that has been developed by Tango Gameworks and has been published by Bethesda Softworks. In this game, you take the role of Akito, a young man who wakes up alone in the streets of Tokyo after a mysterious event hit the city, causing some spirits to roam the streets and demonic and also possessed spirits who hold a grudge. Akito also realizes Tokyo is now infested with paranormal visitors. He immediately comes across KK, a spirit who soon cooperates with Akito to battle the evil forces and find answers. This game is freaking amazing. Now I have to apologize. It's been over 2 or 3 weeks since I posted any reviews lately. I've been doing mostly Let's Plays and just streams just so I can hold fans and newcomers over. But I have not posted any reviews lately, and it's because it's this game's fault. At first, I was going to breeze through the game and just try to be as quick as I can because I had other games I needed to review as soon as possible. The Ninja Turtles game just dropped. The Quarry just dropped too. So I was like, man, I've got to get my shit together. But I couldn't with Ghostwire Tokyo. I could not just breeze through the game and just rush play this, because by me starting the game and me being in depth with the characters, in the cinematography, the dialogue, the story itself, and everything else that is into this game's package by Tango Gameworks, I'm gonna have to say this game is a must-own to the new generation consoles. This game is a masterpiece, probably one of the best games I played this year, hands down. The game does not drag at all. As soon as the game starts, you already play the role as Akito when he gets possessed by the unknown comer entity called KK. Now, even though the pacing was not it did not pussyfoot at all with the pacing, and Tokyo was already infested with the demons and ghosts and the spirits roaming around. My only little complaint is that I kind of wish they gave us a little bit of scenario of how it was before Tokyo got infested. I wanted to walk around Tokyo, wanted to go into stores, wanted to see how things was before all hell broke loose. But it pulled you in pretty quickly, and I was a little disappointed. I was like, man, I wanted to see how things would have turned out, but it paid off. I mean, you still get the free roaming elements, but when things got bad, you went to stores, you went to certain places. The game is more open world than I expected. Even though they showed a little part of Tokyo, it's very detailed. It's very wide open in that area. Because I know that there are some open world games that are open world, but you can't go inside a lot of stores. You can't go into certain areas. They have invisible brick walls. But with Ghostwire Tokyo, they don't have that. There are a lot of places that you'll be surprised that you can walk inside to. And I was still pulled in. But by this being debatably, is it a scary game? Is it not a scary game? Here's the thing. It's both. It's both. The game is not scary, but it is scary when it needs to be. And that's what I like about this game so much, is because when I know I'm not supposed to be scared, then I don't get scared. That's when I get pulled in by the action and the gameplay and the dialogue itself. But there are some times, man, I got pulled in by certain areas that I know I shouldn't be, and certain places that was infested by ghosts and demons and so many entities that I might get outnumbered with, or just certain places that gave me that creepy vibe element to the game's premise. And it done well. The game knew how to pull you in each aspect, and there was no awkward moment that it was not necessary. Now, I mentioned that KK possesses Akito pretty quickly in the game, and by this happening, you already get a little confused, not confused, but just curious of how things are going to turn out with both of them. At first, I was going to think this was going to be a bad thing, because I wanted to know about Akito before we end up getting pulled and getting pushed by KK's knowledge. But no, as the game progressed, you know about both of them. You know about, what they did and what they need to do to get things situated with Tokyo. Now, KK, his mission is to fix Tokyo. His mission is to make sure everything gets straight. As for Akito, he doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, how many games or how many shows and how many animes and how many movies where the main protagonist is being forced to do something that he does not want to fucking do, right? And then he gets convinced by a person that tells him or forces him, you have to do this, otherwise this is what's gonna happen. Now I thought that was cliche at one point with Akito, but that's because I didn't know much about his character. But as the game progresses, you realize that Akito's drive matters just as much as KK. As the game progresses and as you know much about Akito, you know that he has a very sick younger sister named Mari, and she plays a very big part into this game. I don't want to spoil too much, but by that being a part of why Tokyo is in peril, he has to try to do as much as he can to take down the spirits and take down anybody that stands in his way and find answers. So he not only that you know about Akito, but you make him stronger. You build him up as the game progresses. Same thing with KK. KK is already this strong guy, this strong-willed person, but by him being a spirit, he's vulnerable to a shell that he needs to control, which is Akito. He needs Akito to guide him to use the spirit's powers that KK is giving him. So they both need each other. Think of it as a pact from Drakengard, in my opinion. As they bond gets stronger, so is the connection with both of these characters. I was beginning to like Akito and KK so much to the point where I was beginning to feel like a father and son bond with both of them. It was pulling me into the point where I wanted to know more about the story, wanted to know more about what was going on, wanted to know more about Tokyo, wanted to know more about the environment, wanted to know more about the enemies too, because each of these enemies have a background of why things are the way they are, especially the main enemy, Hansa. Now Hansa, think of him as a post-apocalyptic Thanos who wants to restore balance and wants to do things by eliminating a lot of corruption. So you have to be evil to take down the bad. At one point, I was kind of on Hansa's side, but the fact that he was sacrificing innocent people to get what he wanted, that's what drew the line. So that's where Akito and KK comes in, and KK has already sacrificed a lot to make sure things got situated, but he failed. So that's where Akito comes in, and the game's bond's premise always matters when it comes to games like this, and they have done well with the pacing, in my opinion. So I talked about the terminology of the game, I talked about the story, I talked about the bond of the characters. Let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is immersive. The gameplay is intense. There's been so many times I thought I could have gotten killed on this game. And it's not like I played on the hardest mode, I played it on normal. And even when I've unlocked every single spirit weapon, had every single technique down, upgraded all my abilities to max, there was times where I got a little too cocky and I almost got killed, man. Not just by enemies that had different type of tactical move sets, but at the same time, by me being outnumbered, by enemies showing up out of nowhere, by me not being aware of what type of move sets they would use next. And these are just regular enemies. The bosses are another thing. I noticed that they had like a little bit of a Bloodborne type of Elden Ring vibes with these bosses when it comes to them being frustrated by their health going down and they change move sets. I like that with games like this. I feel like if I am taking you down and your health is getting lower, you need to have a realization method of you switching your tactics. It's like real life. When you fight somebody, you hit them, you hit a person or a person hits you, you be on guard and you be stiff-necked, and then all of a sudden you begin to be more, you begin to toughen up your spirit. That's what a lot of these bosses is on Ghostwire Tokyo. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be aware of that. The combat is good too. I like the combat of the game, especially when you have the ability to take the cores out of the spirits while you're busy cleansing them. And I thought that was great. And you can do that as many times as you can. When you weaken them, think of it as God of War. When you weaken an enemy, you go to them and you do an execution move. And that's what the execution move with these possessed spirits, you rip their cords out, and then they get sent into the next life. But if you can cleanse as many as you can at once, it is so satisfying. It's like an orgasmic feel when you're playing video games. I know it's too much information, but I just had to put that out there. And the side missions, there's also side missions of this game too. And actually the side missions is just as important as the main story. As you progress through the game and as you progress through the story, there are side missions that gives you more of a further connection of how the game was before things got bad, or how things is now, and how things have became the way it has became. The side missions on this game does matter. It really does, especially when you want to know the criminology of these characters, or the ghosts, or the spirits, or the demonic entities, or the enemies that you're facing, or the side bosses, or just things that you're trying to collect. But it makes sense, and I feel like there's some side missions on this game that kind of breaks the fourth wall and kind of is not necessary. Like there was one time I had to find toilet paper for a ghost that was using a bathroom. Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I'm not gonna argue with that, but hey. And the Nekamadas, I fucking love the Nekamadas.
Convenience store might be able to find something useful.
Is that a cat?
Technically, it's a yokai. It must have come out when all the humans vanished.
Nekamadas are these cute cats that is on this game, and they don't give you missions. They don't give you these type of goals and these challenges. These Nekamadas have you run errands for them. They want you to collect these items and these toys and these figurines and dolls and these objects for them scattered around Tokyo. Now, for people who know me in my streams, y'all know that I hate running errands. I just hate it. I hate doing it in real life. I hate running errands for people. You know. And at one point, I was going to not do it. I was like, no, I know that this is one thing in the game that doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do no errands for no Nekamadas. Okay, it's pointless. It doesn't have nothing to do with the story. Every time I collect something, it does not add anything to the criminology of the pacing of these characters. But I gave in. These Nekamadas are adorable. They're so cute. They are so cute. How could you say no? How could you say no? Especially when you fulfill one of their errands and you come back to them, and when you deliver the items to them, they give you such a relieving response to it. A very heartwarming meow gesture, and it never gets old.
Hold on, pal. Not running a charity here.
Are you trying to shake down a cat?
They are the reason why I took so long with this review, because I was scattering high and low for Tokyo to find these freaking Nekamadas items and stuff. I would have been a devil if I did not fulfill none of their requests. It's like 4 or 5 or probably more Nekamadas in this in this city, and I had to at least, if I wasn't gonna do no side missions, in which I did all the side missions, but I swore to myself, if I am gonna beat this game without completing everything, I have got to complete these Nekamadas errands. I have to. They're just so cute. They're just so adorable. I would not forgive myself, and I would feel like something was missing, and I just couldn't review this game without admitting this. If you played this game and beat it, and you decide to not do these Nekamata missions, these errands, I would take your bitch ass to 46th Street and I'll bash your head with a pipe. Now, since we got that out of the way, the game is great. Fantastic in all sense of the word. I love this game. I'm gonna play it again. I'm definitely gonna play it again. The game, and for people who love my streams, you are gonna definitely love this game. If you love my streams, then y'all definitely have to check out Ghostwire Tokyo. It's no excuse at this point. This game is great. They got deals of it on stream and stuff. And I have nothing bad to say about it. Now, I did have one issue about this game, and that was the ending. Now, the ending dragged. It dragged to get there. They try to explain Akito and KK's reason of why they were doing what they were doing, especially KK. I think KK's pacing, it was quick. It was too quick. He explained his family and how he wasn't there for his family. He was so focused on work, and he died with regret, and all that was explained in the elevator. But it paid off in my opinion, because I have been in bond with KK so much in my journey, to the point where even though he just explained it in the elevator, 2-minute elevator ride, I was bought into it. It was relatable, and at the same time, I felt his sorrow. I felt his regret. Now, Akito, his was too short. I mean, his was too long. But at one point, I was going to like knock the score down because of that. But it put me back into the graces point, because the ending pulled me in after that point where it dragged, to the point where not only was I pulled back into the pacing of Akito's character, but I was shedding tears, because what he has went through was something that I could relate to. I cried a lot in my stream. If you want to see that, check it out on the link. It pulled me in a lot. I have not cried that hard in a very long time. No video game has made me cry that hard in a long fucking time. And this game deserves it. I was like, wow, this, the pressure that put me within this character has owned my respect. Very good kudos. Very good kudos. Very, very, very good. So at the end of the day, the game is great. The game is fantastic. It is a must-own game in your collection. And do you guys know about the Ghostwire Tokyo Prelude? Now, it's debatable. You can play it, you don't have to play it, but it's a free game. Download it, especially if you got the deluxe edition. And all it is it just shows you KK and everybody else before Tokyo got so bad, and they're just cleansing spirits and cleansing ghosts before things happen to them. And it's just a game where you just go around and you just read the paragraphs as they're busy talking, and you just have to just pick which moveset to use before you get killed. That's all it is, basically. I died a lot because there were some times I wasn't paying attention. But other than that, this game is great, fantastic, and I love it, and I can't wait to play it again. I'm gonna have to give Ghostwire Tokyo an A+. This game has not only made me love it so much to the extent of me playing it again, but I believe that this might be a game that will play a place in my heart. And by me still being new to the PS5 genre, even though I had it for over a year, there's not really a lot of games on the PS5 that I own yet, because most of the games are, multi-platform. So I just feel like at the end of the day, Ghostwire Tokyo is not just a game that does right with the graphics and cinematography, but what pulled me in a lot was the pacing of the characters in the story as well. I kind of miss hearing that bell. But anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.